rainy today.
I know I had humped my.
Why is this giving me trouble?
Genie was a scientist. Freddie, 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 Freddie. He heard that. It's like the Yankee game when they call in from the outfield. Riley, Riley, wave. Bobby, 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 Bobby. There you go. There it is. So good.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second entrance. Jesus. Busted in.
Can you please read the open public meeting statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act of Scotland on December 31st, 2025. Notice was emailed and faxed to the Daily Record, the Roxbury Ledger, the Westmorse Reporter, and published in the Daily Record. Notice should also remain posted throughout the yellow bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Melbeck. Here. Councilman Carey.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Here.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Here.
Councilman Hall.
Here.
Councilman Riley.
Here.
Mayor Patillo.
Here. Presentation of awards, etc. There are none. Approval of minutes, July 14th, 2026.
I'll second them, but you do need to notify council that on the roll call for the resolutions, you should specify that it's named on the liquor license and has corrected that.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Melbeck. Yes. Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Brings us to our first public portion. Does anyone in the public wish to be heard on any topic, township business? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Susanna Alvarium from Roxbury. I brought my tax bill, and I wrote a resolution, since you guys think that resolutions work. So here it is. Whereas July 27th, 2026, I received a Roxbury property tax bill for the next 4 quarters, including preliminary bill for 2027. And whereas neither the Township of Roxbury nor its officials have informed the taxpayers of the fiscal fallout from the DHS warehouse for sale for the next 4 quarters or beyond. And whereas the lack of any communication or contact regarding the realistic potential of a mitigation plan or strategy to recover known tax revenue loss, it is impossible for the township citizens to make informed fiscal decisions and commitments concerning their property tax obligations. And whereas the Township of Roxbury provided no tangible proactive measures beyond written resolution 2026-029 to stop the sale of the warehouse to DHS. And whereas any reactive measures to stop the warehouse were led by the state AG, Senator Kim, and grassroots organizations. And whereas it is a primary objective of the town council and the Township of Roxbury to ensure the public safety and welfare of its residents, business community, and visitors to the township. However, the council has failed to provide. And whereas the town council does not understand the difference between fixed period budgeting and financial planning and strategy, which are distinctly different. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the tax-paying citizens of the Township of Roxbury in the County of Morris in the state of New Jersey hereby unequivocally oppose the tax increases thrust upon us because of the incompetency and general dismissiveness of this council and the absolute failure of this council to provide any actionable or tangible steps to prevent the warehouse sale to DHS. Does what I read hold any weight with this council at all?
Not me.
No, I didn't think so. Just as your 2026-029 resolution held no weight and continues to hold no weight with any person or agency outside of this room. It is a performative piece of paper, a worthless piece of paper with an official number associated with it. Thank you.
Boo.
Bonnie Rosenthal, Randolph.
Randolph.
So do you have something? No? Okay. In 2020, when George Floyd was brutally murdered, I realized how ignorant I was. And I started a group, and one of the things I learned in that time period was that when an individual has black blood, that means the person's black. There were a lot of things that happened in the last meeting 2 weeks ago. I know a lot of people would sooner try to forget those. One was a comment about race. We have two people who are very frequently in the audience who are black. This is not calling anybody out, just to say that whenever there's anything public, race is part of the equation. I'm not blaming anybody, I'm just saying that race is always present.
Name and address for the record.
Steve A., Roxbury, New Jersey. I just wanted to say I'm really sorry you had to sit there and listen to that first speaker. Thank you.
Do you have to say your last name, sir?
Oh, absolutely.
Sit down.
Yeah, and your address. Why do we have to do that?
Adam Fitting, 62 Cliffwood Road, Chester, New Jersey. I want to start by congratulating Roxbury. This is a crossroads of commerce, of outdoors, sports, of industry, of innovation. You have a high school that is teaching aviation and leading the state. It's a wonderful place to live and shop, and I drive through it all the time. And I live next door. I'm in the community next door. The reason I have come over here tonight, though, is because I think you're on the precipice of doing something that you all regret. This DHS project, this has happened before. So I have a couple questions for you. You don't have to answer them, they're rhetorical. First is, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered for the sort of things that I described when I started? Or do you want to be remembered for the sort of things that towns elsewhere have been remembered for when they made mistakes? When I say the word Dachau, the first thing that comes to your mind probably is a concentration camp, as well it should be. But if you've been to Bavaria, or if you just think about it for a minute, Dachau is a village. It's a quaint, little, beautiful Bavarian German village. You go there, you can get all the lovely things, like apple strudel. And there was a concentration camp there. The reason it was built there wasn't ideological. It wasn't political. It was practical. It was convenient. There was an abandoned factory there. That factory used to make munitions during World War I. And after the war, it closed down. They didn't need the munitions anymore.
Sir, I don't mind.
3 minutes?
No, I understand. I'll give you, but this session is for township business specific. We hold a separate one for any DHS related business in about 5 minutes. We just go through the.
Would you like me to finish or just
No.
repeat everything
Go on.
again later?
Just
Okay, sorry.
I'm just making sure everyone else understands that.
Understood. It was convenient. The town was actually run
by the liberals, not the Nazis. It wasn't a Nazi town. It wasn't populated by bad, evil people, the sort of people that we see in movies, and the actual people that did those atrocities. Not in the beginning, not 51 days after Hitler was made Chancellor of Germany, because that's when Dachau opened, 51 days later. And there were no final solution people in there. There were no gypsies, there were no Jews, there were no homosexuals, there were none of those people. There were political prisoners. There were people that opposed what was going on. And the town agreed because they needed to fill the buildings, they wanted jobs. And the people in that town wound up being the ones that swept the floors, mowed the lawns, mended the fences at Dachau. Sure, the SS ran what was on inside the gates, and sure, some people signed up for that too. But we remember Dachau because of the concentration camp.
Sir, please.
That's the decision before you. This project will happen somewhere, but you have an opportunity to say no to it here.
Thank you. Anybody else? For the public, reports of council liaison, representatives, council
Excuse
committee.
me. I have a public comment. I'm sorry, did you?
I already closed public. You can be the first one on the second. Reports of council liaison, representative, council committee, and new and old business. I'll start off, as most of you know, or maybe not know, we had a tornado touchdown last week in the lower Berkshire Valley section of town. I again would like to thank the first responders for being out there protecting and making things safe. I'd like to thank Fire Company number 3 for opening themselves up for a cooling and charging center. I'd like to thank the DPW for the great job that they did clearing sidewalks, roads, and debris. And I'm going to say JCP&L, Verizon, and Optimum, they worked as fast and as safely as they all could to restore services to Roxbury Township. There's 2 storms in a row that we did receive pretty good support from those utilities. And then I also want to thank the residents for their patience as they went through it, right? Everybody wants everything back as fast as possible, but safety is always the #1 concern. Last week, 2 weeks ago, Deputy Mayor and I had a meeting with the NJDEP and the New Jersey Lake Alliance. We once again asked the state park, the Hopatcong State Park, to include that park in the state's reservation system so that we have an understanding of how many cars are coming to the park. What happens is the park fills up very early, and then nobody knows where to go, what to do, and they end up everywhere. So we've been asking for about 4 or 5 years now for a reservation system to be included in that reservation system. I think we might get some headway this time because they've offered me a meeting that just would be around that topic. So more to come on that. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to thank everybody for when the tornado hit in Berkshire Valley. Also the police, and I want to remind people, I did take a drive through there, and it was a disaster. To get to Fire Company 3, you had to go up through Howard Boulevard, Mount Arlington, Jefferson, come down Minisink was the only access in there. We just can't allow that to last very long. But I want to thank the police because they were down wires, and they were telling me that people still trying to drive over and go around the cones and everything else. You had the cones out early. People got to really adhere to what the rules are. It's for their safety. And a little discouraging to see people trying to figure out how to get around it. It's very frustrating. The other thing on a nice note is that we did have an employee luncheon last week, and I think it was fantastic to have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Riley?
Thank you, Mayor. First, Fred and I both received an email from a constituent about door-to-door solicitations. Amy, can you remind me what's permitted, not permitted, and what should our residents do? Apparently she's getting frequent visitors? I know occasionally you send us something of somebody leaving town.
Yes, and we did issue some today, and we will email those, solicitor licenses to you, so you're aware in case you get these. Other ones don't have licenses from us, and we should call the police, and please contact me to make sure I didn't, there wasn't a delay in getting a copy to them, but, there are a few out there, there's nothing we can really do to, when they go out and want to solicit, when there's, BPU or things of that nature, religious or educational purposes, things of that nature, they don't have to get a permit, they usually work very well with us, but there have been a few, home remodelers and, a pest inspection company that have been saying they have a lot of applicants, we don't have any limit as to how many people they can get, a permit for. The number of people, like we have 14 people that got, if they could, permit for that. And they go through all the different departments, and we do background checks, and we do all that, but there's not a lot that the town can do.
Do they get a badge from us?
Yes, we always give them a badge.
Okay, so if they don't have a badge, it's good for them public use.
Correct. And anytime they don't want somebody on the property, we don't have a no knock list, which that would only mean that somebody who gets the solicitor's license, they could get that list from us, and they're not supposed to go to that particular house. I don't know how much of a deterrent that is, but it's something that if the council ever wants to look into that process, we can maybe put that in place. It might take a little
I just wanted to be clear, because it's been a while since we talked about it,
Mhm.
and, I want to get back to
I haven't gotten a lot of phone calls lately, but they immediately should, if they don't want, if somebody's coming to the property and does not have a badge from us, and it's, yes, they should call the police.
Deputy
No,
Mayor?
but-
And we had last year, side person and stuff, and I called again the police commissioner, he was around, soliciting door to door, again, no permit or anything.
And they'll go out and they'll check it out, and we have people have to go to court over that.
Thank you very much. Other than that, just a couple cleanup things, like your background foundation had their gala, 2 weeks ago, which was fantastic, several council members attended. I think they did well in raising funds for the Lake Background Foundation, so, and. Just a little bit.
Their event raised $130,000 for the lake.
The master plan and co-op continue to meet, no specific updates at this point in time. And I too would like to thank the first responders at all levels, police, fire, EMS. We've had a lot of crazy storms lately, and I'm sure it's taxing on everybody, so thank you all for all you did. So, yeah.
Thank you. Councilman DeFilippo?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to add and shine a little bit of a light on social services involved in. There were 10 uninhabitable homes. They dealt with, I think they contacted all 10 of them, and we ended up having to help 1 or 2. And that was all done very successfully, and so kudos to them, as well as to all of the first responders. Social services did a great job. A lot of towns don't even have it. The other thing, and I'll get this wrong, but Stephen, you were gonna bring it up anyway, the food drive on Saturday, the Women's Club. So it's a food drive, is it also, can people come and get groceries and things?
I'm certain that if it was arranged for, they could.
Yeah. Okay, so Saturday, are you gonna bring it up again, you have the time?
I can look it up.
All right, good.
The times are Saturday, August 1st, 2026, 9 to 1 p.m. at the senior center.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councilman Carey?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, echoing the sentiments of the other council members and thanking our fire and police and DPW for all the hard work during the storms. The only things I had tonight were that the Board of Education's next scheduled meeting is August the 17th, and I will be attending the reopening of the tennis pickleball courts at Kiwanis tomorrow at 5:30. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Albrecht?
Thank you. I would also like to thank our police, fire, DPW, and EMS. I was listening during the tornado. You guys all got there really fast. The DPW, you were affected at your building, I think, with trees coming down. Am I wrong?
Not within the facility, but right around the corner of us.
Yeah, so it was a crazy storm, and my utmost appreciation keeping the residents of Lower Berkshire Valley happy and informed. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Councilman Hall?
It's on my way back from Rockaway when a storm hit. And, I pulled right over this side of the road. Matter of fact, I gave Jackie a call because I wanted to find an alternate way to get out. But as I was coming down, the storm had just hit. You guys are on site, and you guys are on site within minutes. So I've never seen anything like it. I saw all the trucks pull up within minutes while I was trying to turn around. And it was remarkable. Just really, really nice job, guys. Our new pickleball courts, as Councilman Carey mentioned, slash tennis courts. We'll have a grand opening for that tomorrow night at 5:30. That's been a long road. Big thanks to Steve, Brett, and all that were involved to complete this. And the passes to get on and use it are selling very well at Recreation. I failed to mention it at the last meeting, but we have a real special person in town. Sean, you may know her, Abby Rattay. So I turned on the television I think it was either Saturday or Sunday, and there she is playing in the All-American game on TV for high school. She's a first-team All-State player. She was named the 2026 Player of the Year by the New Jersey Lacrosse Foundation. She had 101 goals this year. She obtained All-American status, and it's just pretty amazing. It's a USA Lacrosse All-American and National Senior Game All-American status. She's committed to go to Michigan. She's a special player, a really special player. Sean, do you remember this girl?
Yes, she committed as a sophomore.
So she deserves just a ton of recognition for putting Roxbury on the map. Jim mentioned the National Planning Committee. As I agree, not too much to report yet. I attended the 21st Annual Silver Invitational Swim Championship at Horseshoe Lake last Saturday. Congrats to the Roxbury Racers for their successes at that. Steve is scheduling a meeting with the DEP to continue to address the ongoing issues with the odors at the Overlook Apartments. I agree the employee appreciation lunch was done very nicely, and I received some nice feedback on that. I agree with Bob. The Roxbury Women's Club event is important. If you can participate and help out, there's a list of things that they need. So just follow that list and bring it in. With that, I think I am completed.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sinise? Mr. Pugo? Moving on, matters requested referred by council members, managers, attorney, or clerk. A, application for social affairs permit. Any discussion on this? In favor? Any opposed? Item 9, introduction of proposed ordinance 14-26, bond ordinance to authorize the making of a sanitary sewer improvement and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery in, by, and for the sewer utility of the Township of Roxbury in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,695,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bond, to finance such appropriations, and to provide such the issuance of bond anticipation note in anticipation of the issuance of such bond.
I'll move to introduce 1426.
Second.
Discussion?
Steve, I thought we passed all of our, bond ordinances, a while ago. Is this in addition to a previous, sewer?
This is specifically for the RBCs in the jetpack.
Okay.
And it's 2 RBCs, correct?
Correct.
The last two?
Before we start the cycle.
That's correct.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Albright. Albrecht.
Yes.
Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Item 10, hearing and adoption of ordinance on second reading or none. 11, introduction and adoption of resolutions.
Mayor, I'll move 2026-194 to include 2026-195 through 2026-198.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Riley?
Actually, I got a call from the councilperson on this, maybe he got an answer, but the, fire truck, F-150, were we aware of this fit out? Because it looks like given the, certification of funds, pulls it from somewhere else.
So we appropriated a certain amount of money to cover the vehicle plus most of the outfit. We were planning to utilize some of their penalty money, penalty account money to offset the additional. So this is basically outfit, cab, slide out trays, radios, wiring, and a big portion of that is emergency lights.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Item 12, personnel changes, there are none. 13, communications, July 24th, 2026. Any discussion? This brings us to our second public portion. Does anybody in the public wish to be on any topic, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. 3 minutes per appearance, one
Better.
appearance per person.
He's gonna let me talk.
Yeah, can she go first?
Yeah, I'll first. I appreciate it, that's fine. I have like maybe more than one, but Great Montana, 141 Mount Arlington Boulevard. Landing Park shade, where are we? I've asked many times. Might be a bond, somebody here, grant, might be in the budget. Just tell me if I'm ever gonna see shade at Landing Park.
I'll let Steve try to answer this as well, but the most recent efforts, we were looking for grants, paid for a pavilion there. Anything else on that?
Yeah, unfortunately, that was our second application. We applied for a grant from T-Mobile, to fund that project, and we were unsuccessful again. So it's something that we're looking at. We have incorporated those things into the budget outlook. But if there's ways that we can get creative other ways, we're looking at grants constantly. We have a new grant firm that we're utilizing, but it is something that we're talking about.
What-
Try to add shade structures in multiple parts.
Yes, so what budget would it go through if this budget's already done? Excuse me?
Capital budget?
So do you think we're ever gonna see a shade at Landing Park?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
it's
I know
horrific.
something that the township's working on now.
I have to hide under the rock wall to stay there. I mean, the Dell Avenue is beautiful, the baseball, is beautiful. I mean, we need shade there. I mean, just go put up a sun canopy with 4 poles and be done. Let's call it a day.
We wanna make sure we do the right thing.
Okay. The only other thing I wanted to ask for, I just wanna see that. I mean, it's a beautiful park. It's just, there's no shade. The Kiwanis Park pickleball that I was going to tomorrow night, what is the fees for?
I'm sorry, your question is what?
The pickleball courts that's gonna be the grand opening tomorrow night at Kiwanis Park. What is the fees going towards? It's $50 for residents, $100 for non-residents. The pickleball courts,
Recreation, right?
We established a recreation fee for every single activity that we have within the township of Roxbury. So, this will go towards that purpose.
oh,
There's gonna be ongoing, things that need to be done to the court in the future.
so am I paying for just the pickleball courts, or am I
No,
paying?
you're also paying for a card to get in.
Well, I know that, but am I only paying for pickleball, or am I paying for anything in Roxbury?
Well, it depends. If you're renting out a facility within Roxbury Township, you're gonna have to pay for it. In general, if you're just walking through the park, absolutely not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Your funds are going into a general account, just like the softball players might not use pickleball, so it's a general account, it's not just.
But I am paying personally if I wanna go play
Fees are
pickleball.
set by the usage and the cost, right, Brian?
That's absolutely correct. So there's a lot of cost that went into that.
Good.
And, you know,
All right.
it's gonna be great for the community.
All right, I'll say, it. I mean,
Yeah, the user fees are something that have been in place for decades. That permit fee has been in place for 20 to 30 years, that I'm aware of. You know, the update to the program and the use of the court is exactly like what was said earlier. You know, we have a new RFID system to access the court, and that's really to just protect the investment. We've already seen that there's been dirt bikes that have tried to get on the court, rollerblades, skateboards. Those are all things that would degrade the surface, that we wanna make sure that the money that was allocated for the project is going to be protected. And that's really the reason for the permit, that's why it continues to be in place.
so me going to play pickleball, this is the first time that I would be incurring a user fee to use the facility.
No, that permit has been in place for 20 to 30 years. If you opted not to acquire the permit, that's right.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
No problem.
Thank you, Fly.
Of course. Corey Herbig from Parsippany. At the last council meeting, a gentleman got up and asked the police chief if he would respond to calls about cars with illegal tints and no license plates. I think we all know that he was talking about ICE, so I'm just gonna be direct about that. Here's what we've witnessed just in the last few weeks. Cars with illegally tinted windshields so dark you can't see anything at all. Cars with intentionally obscured license plates. Cars with no front license plates. Cars with no license plates at all, front or back. We even witnessed two.
I'm sorry, excuse me, did you see these cars in Parsippany or in Roxbury?
I've seen them in various towns throughout the county.
No, I just wanted to get clarity.
Yes, to
They're in
clarify,
Roxbury.
various
They're
towns
in
throughout the
Roxbury.
county,
I saw them in Roxbury.
including Roxbury, yes.
Because you're from Parsippany, that's why.
Understood.
Got it.
We even witnessed two cars in the same town at the same time with the same license plate, meaning they had split a pair of plates and put them on two different cars at the same time. Cars parked in the middle of the street blocking traffic. Cars running red lights and driving erratically. Councilman Crowley just stated earlier this evening that people need to adhere to what the rules are. So I would like to know if we can get a commitment from the Roxbury Police to enforce the traffic laws against cars engaging in this type of behavior, even if the driver is an ICE agent.
Of course, we state that they
Excuse me, please direct all questions to the council.
Thank you.
Sure. Can I get an answer from the council?
Would you like to address this?
You know, our police department does a great job here in town, and they're here not to look for only vehicles with tinted windows and no front license plate. They're here to protect the entire community.
Of course. From erratic drivers, from
everything.
illegally registered
This is to
cars.
protect the township in its entirety.
Of course. Understood. I would hope that that would include behavior like the things that I listed out. Second, I'd like to address something that was said by Mayor Patillo at the last council meeting. I believe his words were, "Race has no place in this room." I would hope that we can all agree that in this country, race is inherently political. Anyone sitting in elected office has a duty to recognize and understand that. Whether we like it or not, our political systems are built around racial constructs and the oppression of one people because of the perceived superiority of another. To say that race has no place in this room makes you appear either completely naive or intentionally obtuse to the realities around all of us. I hope that you'll do some deep reflection on your statement and realize the harm that it caused, particularly to the people of color in this room.
Ma'am, I'll address it with you.
Please.
You may base your decisions and things outside this room on race. That's what you just stated, right? It's inherently happens. In this room, everybody comes in because I'm not looking at anybody's race, gender, anything. Everybody gets treated exactly the same.
Well, that's understood,
Okay,
but
so then
people of
what do
color
you
who walk
expect
into
me
this
to do?
room don't leave their
Everybody
color
else
at the
out there.
door. It comes with them. And I think to deny that people's experience is
never-
different based on the color of their skin
You
is,
think I don't know that?
I would hope that you would,
think
and I
don't
would
know
hope
ma'am?
that you would
I'm telling you, in this
understand.
room, no one is making decisions based on race. That's where the statement ends. Whatever you wanna do and however you wanna decide on things outside of this room, you are more than welcome to do that.
So-
In here, no one is doing that, ma'am.
What I am hearing is, I don't see color. And to me, that is a dismissal of people's lived experience. So I just want to make you aware of the perceived harm that your statement caused for people in the room.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Go on, ma'am.
My name is Veronica Fernandez, I'm in Long Valley. I also want to say that I'm on everybody's ballot here this upcoming November to challenge Cory Booker as an independent progressive. So there are 4 candidates on the ballot. Being a representative is a big job, and you also need to answer the big questions. And I was really disturbed last meeting to hear that none of you had been to Delaney Hall. So I don't know if anybody has been since to Delaney Hall. Yesterday when I checked, 78% of the detainees have no criminal record other than coming into this country, which is a misdemeanor. They don't even have so much as traffic violations. And the other thing I wanted to say is, I don't know if you've never been there, you've never seen children running from ICE, children screaming ICE and running. It's horrifying, and it's very similar to what you've seen in the old World War II movies when Jewish children were running from the Gestapo. When you see a child running from authorities, it's terrifying. It will rock you. And the other thing that I wanted to say is, now that Tom Kane has returned from being treated for the mental health at the level of insurance that he has voted to deny us all, I wanted to know, have any of you had any communications with Tom Kane Jr. about this recent possible reversal of opening this facility as a detention center? Has anybody heard from Tom Kane Jr. yet? Is he with Mitch McConnell? We don't know.
I've spoken with his office.
You have spoken with his office. Can you elaborate?
I've reached out and spoken with his office.
So you cannot elaborate?
No.
Okay. Is there a reason why?
Not at this time. I can't discuss it at this time.
For what? Okay. A big job requires answering the big questions.
I understand that.
But you don't practice it. You're not practicing it.
We're also in a lawsuit, so this is like.
Well, I don't think that there's like a privilege or anything there. I mean, so you're not practicing it. The other thing I wanted to see, transparency, being responsible, holding to your values and being representative. I'd like to see a show of hands here of those of you who do not support this detention center going forward. Raise your hands if you do not support this.
We've taken action. We've started.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You don't support it for the reasons.
You don't support it at all. You don't. Okay. Hugo? Do you support it?
Yes.
Ma'am, please address just the council.
The committee, yeah. Well, it's just that kind of like such a conflict of interest that we've got.
Unfounded.
Whatever.
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you.
So my 3 minutes are up, but there's much more up than that right now.
Thank you.
Jody Kegan, 90 Union Brick Road, Blairstown, New Jersey. The prior speaker, I don't think she got an answer, so has still no one been to Delaney? Can we get like an out loud answer? Why can't there be an answer?
Go on. You can continue.
I understand that, but there can be no, for the record, there can be no answer whether you visit Delaney. Okay. Alluding to the prior speaker tonight from the first session, it would be a terrible thing if Roxbury or any other portions of the township became synonymous with Dachau. I'm so glad the deputy mayor took a drive through at the tornado touchdown site in the township. I would still encourage everyone on the council to do a drive-by to Delaney Hall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susanna O. Roxbury. There was an article in the New Jersey Insider called "Don't Blame the Governor for Changing ICE Plans," written by Fred Snow Black on 22nd of July. I'd like to summarize it and ask some questions. Don't blame me, it's not my fault. That was Mikey Sherrill's reaction when asked about the comments by township officials that her response to the feds abandoning plans for an ICE detention center in this Morris County town caused them to change their mind and presumably out of spite. Because I reported that we won, the governor said in a Tuesday press conference. So somehow that gives Trump full license to walk back a very bad decision, she added. A statement in late June by Governor and Jennifer Davenport, the Attorney General, called the Fed's change of plans a major victory for the state and for the township of Roxbury. Councilman James Riley suggested that what he called Cheryl's anti-Trump dance prompted the feds to change course. In other words, her celebration was too exuberant. As noted, the governor dismissed that view. She said of the feds, they overpaid for their warehouse, they lost in court, and they have egg on their face. When you make a stupid decision, you often lose in court. I have some questions. What part of Governor or AG Davenport's statement was the equivalent of an anti-Trump dance in a suit in the end zone? Isn't that what you said, Mr. Riley? What part of her statement is equivalent to an anti-Trump dance in a suit in the end zone? And moreover, does she dance to the song YMCA like the president does? Just a quick question. Is the potential closure of a human warehouse not cause for celebration? Does anybody here find that that is not a reason to celebrate? Raise your hand. Oh, y'all think it's a reason to celebrate, so do I. Did anybody on the council disagree with the government or AG's statement that the changes of plans was a major victory for the state or Roxbury? Was it a major victory? I think it was. Is there something controversial here that I'm missing? Okay, let's just play devil's advocate for a moment and conclude that the entire government agency did indeed pivot, change directions, and double back on an agreed resolution because the other party celebrated too hard in the end zone. Do you think that that is a sign of a well thought through decision by a credible agency, or the sign of a MAGA regime led by a petty man-child with a fragile ego? I'm gonna go with the latter. Thanks.
Did you want to go before me, sir? Sir, did you want to go before me? No? Okay. I just want the respect of being able to speak.
Excuse me, if all folks in the audience here can address the council.
Okay, I will do that. It's she's making comments right next to me, so thank you. Bonnie, just gonna go a kind of different direction here. The 6,600 erroneous registrations represented approximately 0.1% of New Jersey's voter registration list, while the fewer than 400 people who voted represented just 0.009% of the votes cast in the 2024 election. Corey describes the incident as a tiny blip. I know. I share that because I'm not sure who the people are in this audience in terms of reviewing all of the information that's out there. I also am concerned that Mr. Bucco, or Senator Bucco, then goes on to make comments looking back at prior elections in reference to when the motor vehicle started allowing registration and all. And I say that because if Mr. Bucco, Senator Bucco, is looking at that stuff, then you guys need to be looking at your own election. Somebody raised that question last time we were here in terms of your attorney is possibly questioning elections. So I suggest going into election season. The last thing I'll state is all this happened within the past 2 weeks. The commentary that happened, the voting, the more people getting killed, all this stuff. And I tantamount it to being about hate and all. So my commentary is, and all, why do you hate people who are undocumented so much? Why is it, like, why? I don't get it. And all, somebody wrote, and all, if we all put the love out there instead of the hate, wow, we'd go a long, long ways.
Thank you. If anybody else wishes to be heard, please stand on line now. I'm going to close public after.
Sierra Wilson, I'm in Mount Olive. I have a few quotes to read for you. So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt, and inept government in the world. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested place from which they came? That is from President Donald Trump. Each of the women that he's referring to were born in the US, but they are of brown skin. It is Representative Cortez, Representative Schwab, and Representative Presley. Next quote, when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. Trump said this in 2015, although a study in 2017 found that native-born citizens are more likely to commit crimes than either documented or undocumented immigrants. Last but not least, why is it we only take people from shithole countries? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have just a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us some good people? We always take people from Somalia, places that are disaster, filthy, dirty, disgusting, and ridden with crime. So again, tell me that race doesn't matter here. When we're talking about an ICE detention center, talking about immigrants, either documented or undocumented, tell me that race doesn't matter. Thank you.
Hi, Bridget Frank from Jefferson, and I want to build on a lot of the things that people were talking about today. First, I want to quickly mention, because Bonnie was talking about why do you hate. Right now in the Jewish calendar, it is a time of mourning, and tomorrow is the 15th of Av, which is a day of love. And hopefully some of the things that you heard today will help shift your perspective about what is going on. It's time we recognize the cost of silence and your lack of use of your legislative power. Our community can't control federal enforcement, and you can't hide behind your lawsuit forever. You have to start passing ordinances to help prevent this concentration camp from going up. We can control whether the local government becomes complicit through inaction. I have a master's degree in Jewish Christian studies. I studied the relationships between Jews and Christians post-World War II specifically. And I've said this before, but I think it's worth saying again, that concentration camps aren't necessarily death camps. And most of what I want to talk about tonight is building on the gentleman's speech from earlier, which is the early concentration camps. Because what's going on right now looks exactly like Germany in 1933. Once Adolf became chancellor, like I said, they didn't start at death camps. The concentration camps were run by the SS, who were more or less security guards, kind of like border control. The SS became an agency of security, mass surveillance, and a state of terrorism within Germany, and Germany occupied Europe, much like ICE and DHS right now. The first concentration camps arose just a few months due to Hitler's desire to suppress tens of thousands of opponents to his political desires. Nazis used activist disruptions as a pretext for mass arrests, without due process, detention without trial, and without legal representation, just like today. Arrests of Germans in 1933 were often accompanied by public humiliation or beatings, or, you know, when the governor sends the police to pepper spray protesters. The Nazis imprisoned people in these camps without charging them with a crime. Prisoners were held there indefinitely without legal recourse. This is exactly what we're experiencing now. There was no guarantee they would ever be released. Actually, some Jews were allowed to be released if they signed papers to self-deport. Kind of like what we're seeing today, right? During this time, there was an average about 70,000 prisoners in around 1933, 1934 Germany. And would you know, that's about how many prisoners we have now. Himmler used the war to kind of grow the types of people that they were putting in these concentration camps. Most were political opponents, communists, and that grew to socialists, Jews, Freemasons, and criminals with no criminal records.
Thank you, Ms. Frank.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind.
Caitlin, oh, 1 second.
Sir, I'm closing public after her. I'd ask anyone else who would like to speak to please come up and stand in line.
Sorry, I'm a veteran in the United States Air Force, and I have to limit my time on my feet. So if I could say about less than a minute, I would appreciate the respect of the council to do so.
I'm Caitlin Killian. I'm from Chester, which, as you know, backs up to Roxbury. And I and my family are regularly here for shopping and doctor's appointments and getting my dog's nails trimmed. And I am deeply worried and have been for months. And having just been at Delaney this weekend, where I would also encourage you to go see what's going on outside Delaney. When I was there, an ICE vehicle came roaring through, much too fast, making a turn, and almost ran two people over, people who were just walking on the sidewalk. That facility, as anyone in ICE would know, is regularly having families come, and they are outside walking on that sidewalk with small children, and there's people all over. And ICE having a facility here in Roxbury is going to make us all so much less safe. My father was a psychologist, and one of his jobs, the county hired him to screen police officers before they were hired. One of the things that we're seeing is that ICE is not having the same kind of screening that we need people in law enforcement to have. And we've seen all sorts of horrible things happening around the country. Within the facilities, people are dying. They're dying after being detained, but also ICE is driving too fast on our streets, too fast outside of detention centers, and also shooting people. So we don't want that, you don't want that, but you could be doing a lot more to stop it. I know there's a lawsuit, I know you've publicly come out and said it, but you need to be using this time right now to pass ordinances against more carceral facilities in your town, barbed wire, oversized generators, huge generators. There are things you could be doing to be putting roadblocks up to put off opening this facility if they continue to go forward. So I want to urge you to start moving on those things right now.
Thank you for offering me a couple more minutes of grace. I'm still Adam Fitting. I'm still from Chester. As I mentioned, I'm an honorably discharged veteran of the United States Air Force. And I was going to add this to my initial comments. I'm also an Italian American, Polish American, German American. And the people that they're putting in these detention centers right now, as mentioned earlier, are not criminals. They're just simply new here. I see a lot of names up there that look like the kind of names I grew up around. My grandparents' names were Rocco, DeTieri. I grew up around kids named Riley and McPherson. But when we were kids in the 70s, there was still some of that 1920s spirit left, where we were called WAPs, where we were called kikes, where we were called patties. And so before you forget where you come from and what was done to the people that came here without papers, which is what WAP stands for, please remember that that very same thing is happening to the honest people that are out there trying to earn a living and experience the same American dream that some of you may have benefited from by dint of your ancestors doing the exact same thing that these people, these good people who are being detained and locked up are experiencing. Thank you.
Yeah. We have executive session?
We do.
A resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury and the County of Morris, New Jersey, authorizing conference of the Township Council with the public excluded. Whereas it is deemed appropriate, the Township Council discuss the matters hereinafter mentioned without the presence of the public in accordance with the provisions of RS 10:4-12B, being Section B of the Open Public Meetings Act. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury, matters relating to potential litigation, property tax appeals, shall be discussed by the Township Council without the presence of the public.
Motion to go into executive?
Make the motion.
Second. All in favor? Motion to go into the other room, have a closed meeting. Before the walk, stay, I don't know how long.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, no, you're not. I'll take the video. Here's my God. Good for you.